Okay, let's go make this precious crossback apron. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later.
The first thing I did was download the template from hometownquiltcompany.com. It's crossback apron template. Then I cut out all of the pieces and taped them together. After I did that, I chose my fabric for the front and for the back. And we'll decide on the pockets in a little while. I chose to cut mine at the same time. If you're not comfortable, you may want to cut them separately, but I laid one piece down and I laid the other piece on top of it. I evened up one end. Each piece of my fabric is 1.5 yards, so I have two 1.5 yard pieces, and I laid my template on the fold. Then I pinned it so that it wouldn't shift whenever I was cutting. I cut it out and then I evened up the sides of it. Where piece number 3 goes in the center of the template, you're going to measure 24 inches down from that. That was so much easier to do than drawing the whole apron out and having y'all print 47 blank pages. The top of the apron is shaped weird, but it all makes sense when it goes together, I promise. After I did this, I put my apron to the side and I got started on my pockets. I finally decided what I wanted, and I chose a completely different fabric for the pockets on my apron. But you could use the same fabrics. You could use the front fabric for your pockets on the back and your back fabric for the pockets on your front. But whatever you decide, lay your template on the fold and you're going to cut 8 pieces. You need 2 for each pocket, and you have 2 pockets on the front and 2 pockets on the back.
We've cut out our apron front and our apron back and our pockets. Now we should have 8 pieces for our pockets. That's 2 pieces for each pocket and 2 pockets for each side. The first thing we're going to do is take 2 of our pocket pieces, put them pretty side to pretty side, just like this. We're going to sew all the way around, leaving a hole so that we can turn it right side out. I'm going to leave my hole in the side right here. I'm going to start here, so all the way around. When I get back to here, I'm going to stop. I'm going to do that to all 4 pockets.
I know y'all are yelling at me to mark my hole because I always forget to leave it. But just so you know, I didn't forget, and I was pretty proud of myself. But the next step of this apron, I'm marking the hole because I was telling myself the entire time, don't forget to stop, Tammy. Don't forget to leave a hole. Don't forget to leave a hole. I'm just sewing this with a straight stitch and a 1/4 inch seam. And I'm getting the 1/4 inch seam by following the edge of my fabric with the edge of my presser foot. I love my fabric choices, but I'm already excited to see the fabrics that you choose. So when you make this, be sure to email me a photo to hometownquiltcompany@gmail.com. We all want to see.
Okay, I've sewn all 4 of them. Now I'm going to turn them right side out and I'm going to iron them.
When I first got on Facebook, 2007 or 2009, I don't know, it's been a few years ago now, the very first thing I ever posted was a photo of me in an apron that I had made from a McCall's pattern. And I was trying to stand like the girl on the front of the pattern because I wanted to show my friend the apron that I had made. And that's back when picture messaging was an add-on to your cellular plan and it cost extra. So I wasn't doing that. I was just posting it to Facebook so she could see it. And here we are all these years later, and I'm still posting photos of aprons. And we've talked about this before, but here's my ironing situation. And that's exactly what it is, a situation. I have my wool mat, but underneath that I have a heat-resistant pad because I'm afraid that the heat from my iron will go through the wool mat and burn my table. So the heat-resistant pad, then the wool mat, and then my iron. This iron is a Chi iron. It is my most favorite iron that I've ever owned. All of this is linked in my Walmart storefront if you're looking for any of it, and that is linked in the caption.
Okay, we have 2 pieces of fabric. We have the front of our apron and the back of our apron. The first thing I'm going to do is take the front of my apron. The center of it is the center of it. That is the neck piece. So this is what your apron piece looks like. This is the neck. Just like this. And I'm going to lay my pockets on where I want them. I'm going to pin it on and I'm going to stitch just around here. I know generally where I want my pocket, so I've got one and I'm going to lay the other one hopefully matching it or matching it-ish. Now I used fabrics from the same collection, and I don't remember the name of this collection or I would tell y'all, but it's a Riley Blake collection. But I used this pink for one side, this pretty natural color with these flowers for the other side, and then this blue for the pockets. But you could make the pockets different fabrics for different sides of your apron. For instance, you could use this fabric on the natural, and the natural on this fabric would be really pretty. I do like the contrast, but you could do it with the same fabric. You don't have to have the contrast if that's not your style. Now I've ironed this, so whenever I top stitch this down, it's going to naturally close the hole that we left when we sewed it so that we could turn it right side out. Okay, so I've got it pinned on one piece. Now I'm gonna try to make my pockets match on the other side, as close as I can get them. So I've just laid one piece of fabric on top of the other one, and I'm gonna lay my pockets on top of the other pockets. And then I'm gonna pick this up and move the other piece out from underneath it. Now I know what my center is because there's a fold in the fabric. Remember, we cut our fabric on the fold. So that makes it really easy to find the center. You're not trying to measure anything. Somebody said you could put a toddler in those pockets, and I got tickled because it's true, but I think I carry everything but a toddler in my pockets. So it's kind of fitting for my apron to have ginormous pockets. But you could obviously make the pockets smaller if you wanted to. Your pockets do not have to be this big. I'm placing a few pins in just so my pockets don't shift when I pick this piece of fabric up. I'm going to move the other piece of fabric that already has the pockets on it, and then I'm going to come back and finish pinning these. Now, I'm going to top stitch from the top all the way down up to the other side. Just here. I'm not stitching my pocket closed. I'm only sewing on the outside of all 4 pockets. Back stitching when I start and when I stop. And when I top stitch, my stitches are closer to the edge. It's not a 1/4 inch seam. It's more like 1/8 of an inch, but you sew as close to the edge as you're comfortable.
When you're turning something right side out that has a curve in it or is circular, it's hard to get the edges flat. So I took a chopstick. Well, actually, it was a mini dowel rod that I had, but either one will work, or any of your tools. And just put it inside your project when your project is right side out and run it along the outside edges, and that will help flatten it out. Pockets are one of the easiest things to customize on an apron because you can make them huge like I've made these, or you can make them smaller. You can make them angled like these are. You can make one straight pocket across the front. You can add stitches to it so you have custom sized pockets. You make whatever you use in your kitchen and you need for your apron.
The next thing we're going to do is take one part of our apron and lay it face up. We're going to take the second part of our apron and lay it face down, matching up all of our pieces. So now our apron looks like this. Okay, we're going to pin all the way around the entire apron. Okay, we're all pinned, or in my case, clipped. Now we're going to sew just the neck. We're going to sew from the top of our strap down and back to the other top. That's it. We are not sewing across our strap. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to sew from the top of our strap up and not sew the strap closed, okay? Then we're going to do the other side. We're going to sew from the top of our strap up to the top. Do not sew across the top of any of your straps. You'll need those in a minute and it will all make sense, I promise. But let's do this first. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitch when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so.
Aprons are my favorite gift to give because everybody can use a new apron. You don't have to worry about matching somebody's decor, and they're not really hard to make. What is your favorite gift to give?
We've sewn under our arms and our neckline. Now we're going to sew around the outside of our apron, but you need to leave a hole so we can turn it right side out. I'm going to leave my hole on one of the sides. Doesn't matter where you leave it. I'm going to leave mine right here, and I'm leaving mine about 4 inches wide because it's kind of a lot to come through that hole. So let's sew the outside of it, and then we'll turn it right side out.
If you don't have any clips, get some because they are a game changer. They go on so much faster than pins, and pins are necessary in some things. Well, actually a lot of things. But with what we're doing right now, clips are amazing because you clip them on there and you're ready to go. They go on so much faster than pins go in, and then they don't poke you when you sew.
I didn't know if I was going to make it, and I made it with like that much bobbin to spare. So let's get a new bobbin and then turn our apron right side out. Now remember, to put your bobbin in, you make a letter P, lay it straight down. And then when you pull your bobbin thread, your bobbin should spin counterclockwise. It should spin opposite of the clock. Now we're going to turn our apron right side out, push out all of our corners with our chopstick, finger, handy dandy tool, not our scissors. We are not using our scissors, or else you'll be crying because you have a hole in your project. I'll be crying because you didn't listen to me, and then everybody's crying. So let's just don't do it. I don't want to cry today. You don't want to cry today. So chopstick, finger, handy dandy tools, no scissors. It's a terrible idea. Okay, now we're going to iron it, and after we iron it, we're going to top stitch it all the way around. closing our hole up on the sides, but we're gonna top stitch the same way we've already sewn. Underneath each arm, start, stop, neckline, start, stop, underarm, start, stop, and then around the apron, but not sewing these pieces together. Don't sew these together yet. We need this open to finish off our apron in a minute. So iron it, top stitch it, and we're almost finished.
Back to my ironing situation. Lots of my students say that they would enjoy sewing so much more if there weren't so much ironing involved. And I get it. But I'm not giving y'all extra steps because I don't like the extra steps. And the ironing takes your project from homemade to handmade. So take a few minutes and do it. Your future self will thank you, I promise. And the same is true of top stitching. When I first started sewing, I didn't do a lot of top stitching. I was so thankful to be at the end of whatever my project was. And top stitching just seemed like an extra step that wasn't necessary. Nothing's falling apart without it. But I've come to learn that top stitching makes all the difference in your projects. It takes them from homemade to handmade. So take a few minutes and do the top stitching. It makes it look like you know what you're doing.
We've ironed it, we've top stitched it. Now, lay your apron out, and you need to take your straps, and we're gonna crisscross. So this strap is gonna go here, and this strap is going to go here. You see that, how it crisscrosses? This came from this side, this came from this side, and this one came from this side. Now, let's close it up and try our apron on. So what you're gonna do is take the first set of straps. Doesn't matter if it's right or left. You're gonna take the larger strap, open it up, and fold it in about a ½ inch, just like that. Then you're gonna take the smaller strap, and you're gonna tuck it in there, just like this. And now I'm gonna go and sew right here. I'm just stitching that down. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other strap. If you wanted to make this apron larger, all you would do is lengthen these straps. Just lengthen both of these straps and it'll make your apron larger. It's very easy to adjust the pattern size on this. I'm gonna take this one, fold it in, tuck this one into it, stitch it down, and see what we've got. And we're done. Y'all ready to try it on? Me too. Oh my goodness, look how cute. Okay, let's look at the other side. Dun dun dun! And here's your crossback apron with pockets big enough to put a toddler in. I love everything about it. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher.